Now, if you have been following the AI dispatch space, you might be wondering what is the difference between ProBook's AI dispatcher and FieldCamp's AI dispatcher. So in this video, what I did was I put together a quick presentation that's going to walk us through the differences, and then I'm going to explain you, while both of them, FieldCamp's AI dispatcher and ProBook, both apply the AI to the same exact operational challenge, which is figuring out who is the best person to go and do this job, and ultimately when. So it's assigning the service jobs to the right technician. But the reality is that both of us, like FieldCamp and ProBook, ships this intelligence in a completely different way and completely different shapes as well. So while we do not compete head to head, they serve a totally different market in operational environments compared to FieldCamp. So the goal ultimately is that for anyone who is using or trying to plan to implement an AI dispatcher, should they use ProBook or should they use FieldCamp? So what ProBook is ultimately, ProBook is, you can say it's an overlay on top of ServiceTitan. So if you're a ServiceTitan customer and if you want to automate your dispatch, first of all, ProBook is 100% better than ServiceTitan's Dispatch Pro, and that's why people are using it. While FieldCamp's AI dispatcher, it's its own standalone thing which integrates two-way with ServiceTitan, Jobber, etc. for a bigger marketplace as well, with more features like real-time GPS optimization, traffic optimization, etc. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing you need to know if you are comparing the difference between each of them is the CRM that divides the deployment ultimately. So let's assume this. ProBook, what it does is, if you're using ServiceTitan, as I said, you need definitely a ServiceTitan account to use ProBook. ProBook doesn't work with Salesforce or Jobber, etc. At least not for now, according to what their website says. But FieldCamp's AI dispatcher, from day one, what we have focused on is we integrate two-way with Jobber, Housecall Pro, ServiceTrade, FieldEdge, of course our FieldCamp field service software, Google Calendar, QuickBooks, etc. So we don't care about what CRM you are going to ultimately use. FieldCamp is more of a following a connectors ecosystem where we connect. Data is yours ultimately wherever you bring it from. We have the dispatching brain. We process it based on various constraints and then we send it back ultimately. Now, how you use this, the UI of it is also different. So ProBook, what it does, it's like a Chrome extension overlay. So it lives strictly inside ServiceTitan. So if you're on ServiceTitan screen, you'll open the Chrome's extension, and then what ProBook is going to do is it's going to do its magic. It's going to plan the board for you. It's going to move things around, and then it reinforces the existing workflows without any new UI addition. But FieldCamp does is FieldCamp brings data from various sources, as I said in the previous slide, and we have a standalone module or standalone UI where this data you can press to plan it out. We have dispatch agents, etc. You have all these amazing dispatch specific features in our standalone product, and then this data, once you approve it, it is sent back to the original CRM where it was brought from. So now if you integrate Jobber and Housecall Pro into FieldCamp, then the Jobber jobs are sent back to Jobber and Housecall Pro jobs are sent back to Housecall Pro ultimately. So it deploys as a standalone web application, and it's an in-app add-on for existing FieldCamp customers as well. So it's like a central nervous system which connects various pieces of your workflow to just automate your dispatch entirely. Then the comparison matrix for 2026 looks something like this. So the starting price for FieldCamp is around $150 based on your credits used. So it's more of a usage based pricing, but the more jobs you want to dispatch, that's how you are going to pay. But ProBook, they don't publicly list the prices, because one thing I have to give it to them is that they are pretty good at white glove onboarding. So what they do is they will come to your office, and if you are a ServiceTitan customer, then they'll say, okay, you know what, we are going to help you automate your dispatch in one specific way, which I'm going to cover in the upcoming slide. But for example, the required CRM for FieldCamp is none. You can use it as a standalone AI dispatcher. If you are doing things on Excel, you can just literally upload your Excel and automate your dispatch, or you can use it with any other systems. ProBook, definitely you need a ServiceTitan. And for this reason, it's a challenge because ServiceTitan's cost starts at anywhere from $100 to $200 per technician, on top of which ProBook is going to add its margin. So it can get a bit expensive if you are using ServiceTitan plus ProBook. Now the operating modes, of course, are both ProBook and FieldCamp a bit similar. We have something called as queue and immediate, which is like based on you want to get a suggestion right now or dispatch like 1,000 jobs at once ultimately. And ProBook also has a similar thing, but ours we have like assist or auto. What that means is, do you just want suggestions or do you want to actively plan it out? And they have something called as co-pilot or autopilot. Now this is one thing which ProBook doesn't have, which FieldCamp do, which is autonomous AI agents. So we made dispatch agents to operate the AI dispatcher itself. So why should you go into, for example, ProBook's Chrome extension or like AI dispatcher and say that, hey, these are the jobs I want to dispatch? Why can it be something like, hey, okay, it's Monday, this week we need to do at least 50 maintenance jobs. You have trained your dispatch agents to know which jobs to prioritize, and it automatically takes those 50, puts it through the AI dispatcher and keeps things ready. So by the time you have your first sip of coffee, you are already looking at a planned schedule, which is not possible in ProBook ultimately. Also, we have 3 more use cases. First of all is multi-day route chaining. So if you are a telecoms provider or a network engineer, etc., you need to plan multi-day routes. For example, you are going to start from Florida, then go to Tampa, then go to Miami, then Keys, etc., and then come back to Orlando. So where you stay the night ultimately at the hotel decides the next day's route or next day's job or the first job. For this, a special dispatching process is needed, and FieldCamp's AI dispatcher covers it ultimately, and ProBook has not advertised about this. The second one is we also take care of use cases like grease trap companies, hood cleaning, etc., where capacity is a constraint. So for grease trap, how much load can a truck carry decides what the route will look like, because then you have to go to a depot to dump and then keep carrying your dispatch process for like the route ultimately. Of course, ProBook also doesn't address this one. We at FieldCamp have that use case as well. And lastly, we have confidence scores with reasoning, where we say that, hey, why did this job was assigned to this technician? The why is more important. The ability to train on why. You say that, hey, your why is wrong, I would have thought like this as a human. That ability FieldCamp's AI dispatcher offers you. Now there's two more things. So firstly, in any AI dispatcher, there is something called as constraints. There can be soft constraints and there can be hard constraints. Soft constraints are basically that can be violated. It can be, those are like kind of flexible rules, if you may say so. And what those mean is ultimately, let's say having equipment can be a soft constraint, that you don't necessarily need a specific equipment, but if it is there, then it's going to be beneficial. But there are hard constraints. For example, customer time windows. You cannot move anything out of customers' time windows. You need specific skills and certifications, like you cannot send a wrong tech ultimately. So ProBook's AI dispatcher, these constraints to some extent, because they are made around the ServiceTitan's ecosystem, they are operating a bit in a black box. Like we couldn't find any much information on their website as well. But what it does really well is it looks at your ServiceTitan's live board and predicts which technician is most likely to convert and complete the call based on historical ticket sizes. So what it does is, okay, for this job, it's a HVAC unit like failure ultimately. If I send Sean, he has a history of doing an upsell of $1,000 for a new unit replacement. And if I send GL, for example, he just usually repairs it for like $400. So it's going to send Sean because it will benefit the business ultimately. But what FieldCamp does, it's like a glass box. We have 30 plus constraints like skills, location, workload, equipment, time windows, route impact, capacity, efficiency, etc. And then from this 8-dimension engine ultimately, we predict a confidence score. So we say that based on this, 80% confidence score can be achieved if I send Sean ultimately rather than GLN. But of course, we have the revenue optimization as well. So we can say that, hey, Sean has history of performing upsells, but does it make sense for a $200 upsell to send him across town, which is going to do like a 2-hour route or 2-hour travel time? So based on all that, all those decisions also come into impact when you are deciding the dispatching. And lastly, the routing horizons, the intraday reshuffling versus the multi-day project chaining. What ProBook does, it focuses on optimizing the current day board. So as the new jobs keep coming in, you need to keep moving the board around, and every morning you have to make your life easy ultimately, because people are going to keep calling you and the board needs to keep moving ultimately. So what it does is it shuffles jobs in real time and reroutes technician within the day to maximize conversion and billable hours. But what FieldCamp's AI dispatcher does, we natively support up to 90 days of continuous planning. It handles multi-day job chaining, intelligent job splitting across multiple days, as I said, like capacity-based constraints, without breaking the mid-task. And now, this is what example, for example, look like with skill hierarchy and capacity tracking. So the FieldCamp's blueprint is something simple, where you say, hey, level 3 tech can do level 1 and level 2 job, which is hierarchical skills ultimately, but level 1 tech cannot do level 2 and 3 jobs ultimately. So that's the first case which FieldCamp offers. The second one is conditional routing. What that means is, only once you have equipment for installation you can do installation, or once you have the parts for the installation or the purchase order has went through, then only you can do the installation. So that is only possible with conditional routing. And the third one is the grease trap, as I said, where once the truck capacity is 85% full, you need to go to the dump site and just empty it out and then continue on route. So these are the 3 things which ProBook doesn't fully cover it, at least from their website. But on the other side, what the ProBook overlay does, it relies on flat historical data driven matching to optimize for sales and efficiency. So it does not advertise hierarchical skill matching, certification gating, physical vehicle capacity tracking. Example, what it does, it learns from ServiceTitan's data, which is pretty amazing, and then it says, if you are a ServiceTitan customer, Sean has the most history of upselling, so you are going to send Sean because he will make the most money ultimately. And lastly, the AI agency spectrum, where ProBook gives 2 modes, Copilot, Autopilot. In FieldCamp, using the dispatch agents, we have 4 categories of agent, where you have operational insight, dispatch automation, and 3 categories, live dispatch. And from this you can say, for example, I want dispatch automation, then I want the AI agent to automatically run the dispatch. Or if you want just operational insight like capacity forecasting or stale work detector, you can use that particular agent to do your thing. And lastly, the cost of ownership is ProBook uses custom code pricing. Critically, it requires underlying the ServiceTitan's seat licenses, which I said is $100 to $500 per user. And economics break only if your operations are like, ultimately if you're too small and you're paying 10K to ServiceTitan already for a 20-30 tech team. This is going to add additional expenditure from your end ultimately. While FieldCamp curves is usage based, as I said, it depends on how much credits you use, which is based on the number of jobs that have been scheduled. But I think this presentation overall summarizes where FieldCamp shines and where ProBook shines. It's always good to have someone in the industry to learn and grow from. These guys are learning from ServiceTitan, who is the biggest in the market. What FieldCamp is doing is, there is a lot of customers who use ServiceTitan. We are also working with them with a two-way sync to ServiceTitan. Or we also focus on Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, Housecall Pro, Jobber, etc. because our connectors work with a two-way sync with these existing systems where a lot of field service businesses also rely on. Thank you.